Hi guys, it's Victor and
ともこです。
and today we have a very sad story to tell you. But first of all, we have a question for all of you watching this video.
はい。あなたの命の価値はいくらか。
How much is your life worth? Think about that while you're listening to the rest of this video.
日本ニュースタイムへようこそ。
ともこです。
Okay, hello there. This is Victor and Tomoko.
ともこです。
And today we're doing a story on wrong paper. Today we're doing a story on a woman named
カニカさん。
Kanika. Kanika. Now, you might think Kanika doesn't sound like a Japanese name because it's not. Kanika is from
タイランド。
Thailand.
はい。
And she was married to a Japanese guy, right? His name is
大隅信勝さん。
Osumi Nobukatsu.
はい。
And he was 60 years old. He died last year.
そうなんです。
He was the first person to die from, as a result of the Fukushima reactors. He was a welder.
ウェルダー。
Yeah, he welded. You know, he was sent there to weld. I believe he was sent on May 11th, and he died on May 13th. And it's kind of a sad story, right?
はい。
And it's there's a big, as you can see here from my papers, I have 6 pages here, and there's a really long article in the newspaper about it. Tomoko, so what happened?
電力会社の方で、要請があって、福島第一原発の後処理に行ったのね、彼が。
So he went to clean up. He was sent there, he was sent there to clean up. And I saw there's something called shitauke.
そうですね。
四時 How do you say that? 四時shitauke?
第4時。
4時.
1時、2時、3時、4時、第 4時。
So what happens is one company outsources their work to another company, and they outsource to another company, and they outsource to another company. So this is the fourth level. 4時shitauke.
はい、下請けですね。4時とも4時とも両方言うと思うけど。
Right. So anyway, he was working for those companies. He gets just to give you an idea of what a welder makes. He gets about 20,000 yen a day.
はい。
And he got 160,000 yen a month. This is his salary. And basically he would work for a week or so, then wait for another contract to come up, and he would be sent somewhere else to work, okay? Anyway, long story short, he died suddenly after he and another guy were lifting 50 kilograms of what was that? Like something...
鋼材の切断機を。
So kind of a big piece of steel?
そうですね、スティールで、切断機だからカット。
So a cut piece of steel, they were lifting and dragging it away, and suddenly, a heart attack?
そう、ハートアタックと書いてある。心筋梗塞。
心筋梗塞で he got a heart attack and died.
亡くなってしまったんです。
Right? And it was just the wife, Aki-san is her Japanese nickname, but she's from Thailand. Kind of it's a pretty sad story. So she gets a phone call, and they leave the message on her answering machine. Which I thought was pretty strange. I didn't know they do
直
that.
接話すのがね。
Yeah, usually you tell them directly, say, hey, get someone on the phone. But so she's really upset. She collapses. She's upset. She can't believe he's dead. The company car comes and gets her, and it takes her to Fukushima. And she had no idea that he was there doing that kind of work. She thought he was up there doing some other kind of work. And they go to the police station, and they see his body in the kan-oke, right, in the coffin.
棺桶。
His body's in the coffin, and he still can't believe he's dead. I didn't understand why. I was reading the article to him. I read this is all Japanese. Maybe you understood why. His ears are purple.
紫だったの？
Why is that? Did they say why?
書いてないけど、
They didn't say
倒れ
why.
てそのままだった。
Maybe because he fell on his ear. Maybe his ears were purple. They were bruised, and he had some scratches on his face. Probably from taking the mask off. He had some kind of safety mask.
そうだね、原発だから。
And remember, this is May, so it's really hot, and everyone's wearing protective equipment, and I guess they can't breathe well. So I guess under the stress, he had a heart attack and died. So okay, terrible story, right? He's the first person, right, to die.
はい、その初の死者ということでね。
Okay, so identified, recognized as the first person to die.
原発処理をしている人の。
Cleaning up from he's the first person to die as a result of cleaning up from at Fukushima. And he's a welder. And this is kind of an interesting backstory about this whole thing. I'm going to go through this real quick. So the day before, they had a dream. This couple had a dream. He was going to work for 2 more years, and then they were going to go back to Thailand and work on a farm and just retire.
夢があったんだね。
That was their dream, right? They met in Thailand in a restaurant, and I guess it was love at first sight or something. And he didn't speak any Thai, and I guess she didn't speak any Japanese either, right? Right? And so they had a hard time communicating, but they were married.
ね、結婚したんだよね。
Yeah. What do you think? That's interesting. Do you think you could marry someone, Tomoko, who could you marry someone if you don't speak their language? Huh?
それありえますね。
You think so? It's possible, huh? I don't know. What do you guys think? You think you could possibly marry someone if you can't communicate in the same language? Kind of interesting, huh? I guess you get to know each other a little by little, huh? Anyway, the day before he left, she's like, okay, she got everything ready. She bought him new work clothes, new shoes, new hat, and new underwear. And got everything prepared. And she goes, okay, since this is your last night, I'm going to prepare your favorite food. And he made her sashimi and tofu and miso and curry rice. Curry rice is a very Japanese food. You would think it's not very Japanese, right? How often do you make curry rice, Tom?
カレーライス、1週間に1回ぐらい。
Okay, so once a week. See, pretty common stuff, right? Good stuff. And canned beer. And they had a kanpai, and they had a little feast, a little banquet, right? By the way, Tomoko, do you know how to read the kanji for enkai no en?
宴会の宴？
Yeah, how do you read it? I'm testing her. How do you read? How do you read it?
宴。
Very good.
あなた日本人。
Very good. Most people don't know that.
私漢字は、
That's a hard one, I think. Most Japanese don't. They go, Anyway, so they had a little party, and he went off to his work. And 3 days later, he was dead. Okay. And before he left, this is kind of interesting. Tomoko. Right?
指切り。
Before they left, they both grabbed their yubis, their koyubi. This is their pinky, and they did this. And they usually do this to say to promise something. Like I
そう、約
promise.
束の時です。
And what if you don't do this? What happens? You have to drink 1,000 needles.
ああ、針千本。
If you break your promise, if you make a pinky promise, right, and you break it, you have to drink 1,000 needles. Hari is needle. Senbon is 1,000. Bon is the counter for needles. Right? You have to drink or swallow 1,000 needles. That'll be your punishment, right? Like cross my heart and hope to die kind of thing. Okay. But they didn't do the pinkies, right?
ああ、しなかったんだ。
They did the thumbs
ああ、そう。
because that's supposed to be. Is that normal? I've never heard that before.
あまりやらない。
No, I've never heard that. So maybe it was their own personal little thing, you know, between these couples. So they got their thumbs together, and they promised, and he went off. Oh yeah, and also before, here's something I've never seen before either. Kiuchi ishi o utsu mane.
パンパン？
Do you do that?
あまりやらないけ
Have
ど。
you seen that before? They do that in movies, right?
日本？
So
タイでやるのかな？
it must be. I don't know where this comes. Well, I think it's from samurai days or something.
あ、
But
昔のね。
to ward off danger, warding off danger is called yakuyoke. Yakuyoke.
厄除け。はい。
Yaku, Yaku is danger, and yoke is to ward off. And to do that, what they do, which makes sense, is you have to imagine you have 2 pieces of wood, of stone, and you hit them together quickly. How do you do it? Like this? Just like that?
パン。
Pam, pam. And that creates sparks, which I guess that scares bears, maybe? I don't know.
うん、
Maybe
火花が散るか
it
ら。
creates fire. So they did that. You know, when he left, they did this, and despite all this, you know, promising and this, he died anyway. So, but a very detailed account of his last days, and very sad. But this is not the scandal. The scandalous part is, a few months later, the president of the 4th tier company that the work got outsourced to called her and said, "I want to have dinner with you." Right? They went out to dinner, and he says, "I want to give you 500,000 yen."
50万円。
And then
タイに帰りなさい。
go home, go back to Thai, go back to Thailand. Here's 500,000 yen, which is about $5,000. Go back to Thailand. Now, at first, she was happy. She was like, oh, well, I'm not happy. Of course, not happy. But she was like, okay, well, I'll use this money to see my family. I haven't seen them in a long time. See my friends and family. I guess it's a good thing. Go back to Thailand. But then she talked to a lawyer. And because, I'm sorry, he didn't give her the money at dinner. He said, I'm coming back by tomorrow night. And get your inkan ready. Because in Japan, you don't sign contracts. You have an inkan. And you stamp the inkan on something. And anyway, the lawyer told her, don't do it. She contacted the lawyer and said, don't do it. So when he came by, he was furious, right? And he said, お前、裏切った。お前、裏切った。裏切る is to betray somebody. お前、裏切った。裏切ったな。と呼んだって。He was super angry. 激高。is that right?
激高
is very angry. And he was extremely angry, and he said, that's it, you betrayed me, so the deal's off, right? No money. Right? And the lawyer got involved, and they tried to contact the company. They call it, the principal companies in charge of all this outsourcing is Toshiba and Toden, which are, I guess, big companies. I've never heard of Toden. Toshiba, of course, is world famous. They contacted those companies, the lawyer and the journalist, and those companies said, well, we have no comment, and we were told not to talk to her. And the lawyer said, no, that's not true. We told them not to threaten her. Don't scare her. But they tried to get the company chief, the guy who had initially offered the 500,000 yen. They said, here's the big question. How much is your life worth? That's the big question, right?
だって奥さんは私の夫の命は50万円なのって思ってるわけなのよね。
Yeah. What do you think, Tomoko? How much is your life worth?
私の
If your husband died, how much money would you want to take?
1000万円の保険金と、でもそんなお金じゃ買えないものだけど。
Yeah, you can't put a price on it, right? Of course. But if I died and someone said it's only worth $5,000,
ちょっとひどい金額だよね。50万円で。
Pretty terrible. Pretty awful. But anyway, so they interviewed the guy, and he said, I don't have to explain anything to you. And anyway, actually, I was going to offer 100,000 yen. This I was going to offer 100,000 yen, right? Did you see this part? 5万円じゃないよ。100万円ぐらいで俺が話をつけとったんだよ。50万というのは彼女がどういう顔をするかと思って様子を見ただけのことなんだよ。
そんなひどいことを言う。
So let me translate what I just said, what I just read. He said, it wasn't 500,000 yen, it was 100,000 yen. And I only said 500,000 yen just to see what kind of face she would show me. So he was like testing her.
おかしいね。
That's retarded, right? Excuse me for saying retarded, but that's retarded. He just socially retarded. And that number was decided upon after he consulted with the next company up that outsourced his company. So they did a little consulting. But anyway, kind of a sad story about what happened here. Anything else about this, Tomoko?
そう、だからそれは原発が原因かどうかはわからないんです。
Yes, of course. They can't.
心筋梗塞というのは
They can't really attribute his death to the actual Fukushima events. They can't really say that it's directly responsible. So that's another thing.
でも奥さんとしては彼を生かせなければよかった。
She wished she hadn't sent him to Fukushima. The other kind of funny thing about this that you might not realize is that a lot of Japanese wives call their husband otosan. Right?
パパとか
Yeah.
お父さんって呼ぶ。
Yeah. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I might have a link to another video that talks about how to call people in Japanese. Anyway, he says, お父さん天国に行って幸せになってほしい. So I hope he's up in heaven, and I hope he's happy now. But a very sad story, and as far as I know, they still have not settled on any kind of number. So, hopefully she'll get a decent amount of money to live out the rest of her life, or at least more than $5,000.
もちろんだと思います。
Anyway, that's it for today. It's another sad story. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back with something a little bit more, a little happier next time, I hope.
はい。
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
ありがとう。